The superstars of Fan Control Football Season 2.0 are not only the who's who of celebrity team owners and influencers, not the 21 million live views of our Emmy-nominated broadcast. Across Twitch, DAZN, Fubo, NBCLX, Peacock. Or our highlights that scored over 100 million views. And we can't forget best-in-class sponsors. But the biggest star of Season 2 is our play-calling app that allow fans to control the action on the field. Fans pick a team, pick a play, 4 run plays, 4 pass plays to choose from. The play with the most votes is called in real time.
We got it.
This is where video games and live action come to life. And now, Fan Control Sports and Entertainment brings you Fan Controlled Hoops, where fans call the shots. Coming 2023, the future of sports is here, and it's Fan Control. Power to the fans.
Are you ready for it?
This is FCTV, fan-controlled television. Programs created and produced for the fans, by the fans of fan-controlled sports and entertainment. As always, power to the fans. And now, it's time for the show.
What is going on? Welcome, guys. It is February 28th. Welcome to Info Arcade, our regular old broadcast on a Tuesday. It's a good day, though. It is a good day. AJ, King Call with me, my incredible co-host. How are you doing, my friend?
Good, man. Just came back from a nice snowboarding trip in Idaho. Got to test out my nice custom Bored Ape snowboard.
It is insane, by the way.
I funny story. So, never been to Idaho. Friends from Colorado moved out there. We were going to visit them. We always try to snowboard with them. They told us about this mountain. We went nicer than I was expecting. I was expecting like something like straight out of the 80s kind of ski slope.
Yeah.
And then it was like, it was cheap. It was Idaho. So we got like a nice ski in, ski out thing.
Yeah.
Brand new board. Didn't wax it. I was like, it'll be fine.
Oh,
dude,
no.
I was so out of breath just trying to get like off. Like it was literally at the very bottom of the mountain side of the thing. Like I was pushing myself down the mountain with this thing.
Dang.
I wasted 45 minutes afterwards just paying somebody to go wax it. But the guy was nice. He only charged me like $5 to wax it.
Hey, that's
was,
great.
Like, super cool.
So you only kill a little time. That's not bad.
It wasn't too bad. I was just like, oh no, did I spend a ton of money on a bad board? And I was like, let me look at this. Didn't get it waxed. It's my fault. I should have known. I should have known better. Works great now.
Yeah. I was gonna say
way better now.
Great. I love
great now.
I love the artwork. So you guys will have to go on the Discord. If you're not already in the FCF Discord, make sure you guys sign up for the Discord. Jump in there. You guys can see conversations. But AJ actually posted I think a photo on his Twitter. I might even be in the Discord as well. But there's this really awesome picture of a snowboard, and it says just board.
No,
right?
snowboard.
Oh, it says snowboard is what it says.
Yeah.
Snowboard, but it's board like Bored Ape said. It's got his awesome mutant on it. It's sick. I love that play on words. Like it's BORED. It's sick, dude. Anyway, yeah, fun times. Spacely is over here in the chat. He said, just spent an entire minute wondering why info sounded so different, realizing it was just an ad. Big oof. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, you guys are watching the Info Arcade show each and every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central. That is 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 Eastern. We run you through all the sports and entertainment news you need to know about right here on this podcast. You guys can actually listen to podcast services all around the globe at any time through podcast services of your choosing, like Spotify, Apple, etc. So we are so glad that many of you are joining us live tonight. We've got Ruthless Cutie on there as always. We've got Freddie Aramel Bucks. Good to see you, buddy. It's Jay Spacely and many more. And if you guys ever want to make sure that you guys are catching the show live so you can interact with our Q&A like we have later in the show, make sure you guys jump on. It's going to be awesome. But tonight we got a really fun show planned. And we've got a lot of topics to jump into. So we're just going to get right off into it. But first, story time. I thought I wanted to share the story. So it's been a kind of a crazy couple weeks for me. Let me explain. My wife was driving our car the other day, pulls over from the right lane into the left lane, and then the engine just like explodes, like while she's driving. Two of my kids in the back seat, totally crazy. Luckily, no one is injured. She's able to safely navigate the car like over. There was lots of smoke and stuff. The thing never fully engulfed in flames. They said that had she been driving like another 15 seconds, it would have. So like totally scary situation. Piston rod went through the engine. Oil everywhere, mess just everywhere, smoke everywhere, total disaster. It's gonna be like 10 grand to fix, right? And the car is barely worth that at all, right? The car is barely worth that at all. Anyway, so my wife and I were like, man, what do we do? Like, how are we gonna come up with a new car? And we're just kind of really worried about it. And dude, like, huh? By
Carvana. No, Carvana.
Oh, Carvana.
Just be like, it still works.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is turn it on.
Obviously, it doesn't work because it's mechanical. Dude, someone came through and said, hey, I heard about your car situation. So several of our friends like put together like just like a little gift for you as like just like a hey, like we're sorry you're going through this. We want to help you. They gave us a check for $4,000. And I was like, oh, that's super nice, right? And then like later, I got a call that night from another friend of mine who's like, hey, like I was up all night last night. I was worried about you guys. I was just kind of like tossing, turning, couldn't sleep. And I just felt like I needed to give you my car. So like they gave us like their SUV, just like gave it to us. And like this weekend. So like it's been like super crazy. Which is why like I wasn't able to like do a whole lot for the show this week because I've just been dealing with all this craziness. Trying to get the show ready, trying to deal with all these personal stuff like that's just way out of the ordinary, and then all these really cool things are happening at the same time. And then my washer and dryer go out like same night, like they just like are done, and then my TV today,
your TV. I was gonna say, and then your TV.
Like I was watching the Leeds FA Cup game, and I'm kind of glad that at halftime it did this because the second half was brutal, but first half works great, and then like whenever it's like in that halftime period between the first and second half, the backlight just went out on the TV. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go buy a new TV. So
that's just unlucky,
dude.
You either have the best luck or the worst luck.
It's I'm like, what is it? But either way, it's honestly super good. And the reason I share all of this is not to like brag or whatever, but like even like when I have like these really tough weeks, I gotta say this is like one of the things I absolutely love is getting to come on and look forward to being on this show each and every week, hang out with all you guys watching online, hang out with you, AJ, hang out with Stathead whenever he's here. Like you guys are just always so much fun to just be able to like break away from all the chaos, just to come talk sports and entertainment media. Like this is why we do this, right? It's not because like any other reason other than we like to get to do this. So thank you so much again from all of us here as fans to fans, just for being a part of the show in one way or another. So that was it. That was the spiel. Anyway, enough with the sentimental crud. Let's just get into the show tonight. We've got some really, really fun stuff. But first I want to talk XFL. Week 2 has come and gone. And I just want to kind of hit this topic of, and feel free, by the way, chat, if you have any questions, comments, things like that, please throw them our way. We'd love to interact and go over it with you. But the XFL has come and gone week 2. We saw some good matchups. We also saw some blowout matchups again, just like week 1 all over again. And so really the question on the table is this: is the XFL what you thought it would be through week 2 or after week 2? Is it living up to your hopes and dreams of spring football, or is it starting to kind of slump? Like week 1 was hype. Like I think we were all really excited, but some of us FCF fans were a little disappointed, right? Because we didn't see certain players, and then week 2 came and gone, and we saw some certain players, but then we didn't see others, and it's just crazy. So, AJ, I wanted to have you and I just kind of lead off the conversation with what do we think about the XFL so far, and then also chat. Feel free to chime in. Are you watching the XFL? What is your take on it? Are you guys enjoying it? What things do you like? What things do you don't like, etc. Let's do it.
I mean, sure. Let's start off. I'll be real and honest. I didn't really watch too many of the games this week, except for the Guardians game. And I have to say, that was a very disappointing game.
It was a little bit.
I've kind of been questioning, like, what is it about the XFL that I don't like? Like, there's something about it that's just, not hitting home for me. And I don't know how to explain it or what it is, but I think the thing that's missing is it's just not the same level of talent as the NFL.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
The difference between this and the FCF is I just feel more connected to my teams in the FCF. Maybe it's because, we help pick the plays, we pick the teams, we pick the logos, we pick the jerseys, we pick pretty much everything. It's a level of, well, I think, we as FCF fans forgive the players a little more because we kind of blame it on ourselves as offensive coordinators. But like watching the Guardians game this week and going into Bored Ape chat, even the FCF chat, people are yelling at the offensive coordinator of the Guardians. And it's just they're not doing well. And it's well, if we were calling the plays, the only people we can blame is ourselves. And now it brings back that whole level of frustration that the NFL gives us as FCF fans is, well, we can't call the plays for our team. But on top of that, it's a level of play that's not the same. It's still leveled down. So it feels like not only is the game more so out of our hands, it's also a level of play style that's just a little disappointing. I think the biggest thing for me was DeAndre Francois this week. I think he honestly, purely, genuinely just had a bad week. But he did not play well. It was kind of apparent throughout the game.
Yeah.
My favorite part about it, though. Yeah, he gets pulled. My favorite part about it, though, he had a great viral TikTok moment where he told his team to shut the F up.
He did.
Like a true quarterback.
If you missed that, you can watch that clip on the FCF Instagram or social media accounts because we shared it and we said QB1 being QB1. It's the truth. It's Dre. It's totally Dre. I'm going to read some of these comments real quick. We've got Matt Finlaw over on Facebook tuning in. Hey, thank you, Matt, for watching tonight. He said, strong product overall. That's what he thinks about the XFL. Harry Back over on YouTube says he's a Bama fan, so he's pulling for the Battlehawks because of Mekaram, I think is how you pronounce his last name. But yeah, the Battlehawks are looking something fierce. If there's any team that looks dope, it's by far Battlehawks seem to be them. They seem legit. Harry Back also says the USFL is pretty good as well. He says go Stallions. So we got a Stallions fan there. Freddie Airmail. We love Freddie every single time he hops on the show. He's coming in with some facts for us. Renegades are the next opponent, so it should be a good opportunity to get things right. They are one of the lesser teams right now, so maybe it gives a chance for Orlando to get a win on the board. We'll have to come back to Francois midseason and see how he's playing at that point to really figure it out. Here's the thing that you brought up, hey, we had fans in our Discord chat kind of being dude, what are these OCs doing? And I love the interaction of hearing the OC and the DC commenting to their teams or yelling at their teams on the mic. That's super dope. And we're all yelling at the TV and in the chat. And so I guess my question is this: has the FCF ruined football for us, or at least spring league football for us? Because I don't feel like I have that opportunity to coach an NFL team or to call plays for an NFL team, because after all, they're that professional, right? They are so professional. They know exactly what they're doing. There's a reason that they're in the NFL. Whereas XFL, USFL, FCF, I feel like that's a talent level where any hardcore FCF fan could be calling the plays all right, guys, we're going to run a blue 40 route post. We could totally call whatever. And I feel like the FCF has spoiled spring football for us. Do you feel that way? Like whenever you're watching these games of these guys that are not quite next level, not quite there talent wise, but you just kind of want to like yell at them and tell them what to do. Like,
Yeah, man, 100%. Like that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like the FCF did ruin spring football for me because like, I just feel like these players would do better under my guidance now. Now it just filled my whole head up with this level of, man, if I don't get that interaction, if I don't get that ability to, really feel like a part of the team, it feels like it's waning. Like maybe it's the fact that like, not all these leagues have, teams from every city like the NFL and NBA and MLB, but it's hard to feel attached to a team that was just built yesterday,
True.
Like like the reason why I love the Guardians is purely because of FCF players. It had if I take all, DeAndre, Jamil, all the guys out of it, Mike Lee, gold member Roman Tatum.
Which
if I
also
take all those guys
bias out of it, right? Like, because that's where your bias lies, is with those guys
exactly.
You know personally. Yeah.
If I take all those guys out, or they were evenly spread across the team, like there's one FCF player in each team, I would pick the Arlington Renegades. Why? Because they have the best logo and the best jersey. Purely only reason. That's it.
And they've got coaching legend Bob Stoops.
Yep, there it is. Why not? Sure.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why. Otherwise, like I wouldn't care. There's no like love. There's no loyalty. Like I will jump from team to team anytime I want to, essentially. And that's something that like I think is missing from fan bases. And the thing that's different in the FCF is like you have, teams and players and fans that like have a genuine love for specific teams.
Yeah,
like sure. I'm not gonna say who. But it shocked me when certain franchise tag players came up to me during the season to be like, I want to be an ape. Purely because they like really identify with a specific team.
Yeah, right.
Now, I'm not going to put anybody out there. But when that happened, I was like, wow, this is wild because, a lot of players like really rep their team. Like, I'm going to say this. Izzy, when he was a Glacier Boy like hardcore. He was repping the hell out of them. But like, you don't see that a lot of times in like these young leagues. They're just like, hey, wherever I go. Yeah. But to have like specific players come up to be like, dude, I want to be an ape. Tell the fans to put me on the apes. Like, that's nice, man.
And then he had to get hurt. We couldn't draft him. Like, why?
Hey, true. Like Izzy wanted to be an ape at the beginning, but like the second he got picked to the Glacier Boys, he went deep.
Yeah, he did. And I hope we'll see him back for FCF action in the future. He got hurt mid-season last year, but
he's been hinting at it.
I hope he does. He would be great.
What?
He'd be a great
I feel
addition.
like addition. Maybe I should just hit him up. I have his number. Maybe I get him on Don't Cause a Ruckus episode.
Ooh, there you go.
See what happens. Why not? We've had some FCF players show up. Maybe hit up the kid. I got Mitch's number. I got a couple players' numbers. Maybe just start hitting them up.
Harry back on YouTube saying, I love FCF and indoor football. Yeah, totally love IFL and FCF as well. They're great. And we don't hate the XFL. We don't hate the USFL. Really what it comes down to is like, they're all great products. It's more football, right? Like, how bad can it be? Like, it's something to watch. It's something that's entertaining. I feel like we just get spoiled by that fan interaction or that additional like fandom where we get to take a little bit of ownership, a little bit more pride than we do with a traditional football league, kind of like what AJ was saying. I have to agree with Spacely. Houston by 50. Like, Houston looks ridiculously like OP. And if not Houston, I like the Battlehawks as well. Like, those are the two teams that I've got my eye on.
The Renegades are looking
this
nice.
XFL season. Matt Finlaw saying the Defenders are taking the title.
Sorry, Roughnecks. I mean,
yeah, Roughnecks. Yeah. Matt Finlaw says Defenders are taking the title. Yeah, maybe.
Defenders are not taking the title. I'm sorry.
Freddie says I have the Brahmas favored this week. Hey, Brahmas definitely showed up against the Guardians. That is for sure.
They 100% did.
That was a rough game to watch.
All right, now I want to ask you this then.
Yeah.
What do you feel about the coach of the Guardians and his viral tweet saying the players just don't want it? He wants to get rid of all the players and get new players that want it.
So here's a great thing. This is my only dislike about the XFL. Okay. One of the things that I have noticed is there's really not a balance. They had a draft at the beginning of the year. there hasn't really been time to assess any of their talent against talent until we've had these games, right? Last week and this week.
Yeah.
One of the things that FCF does, which at first I didn't understand, but those first 3 to 4 weeks are trial draft periods where teams get to redraft with an additional franchise tag week. So you're kind of like building a roster slowly but surely throughout the year. And you're like, okay, we like the way this guy played. And that's kind of how you're putting together balanced teams, because you can snipe players from other teams and your players will get sniped. Do not think that they will not like get picked up if they have a great week and you do not.
Terrence Williams.
Yeah, exactly. Terrence Williams, like he balled out for the Apes and then we had to say goodbye. And that's just part of it, right? That's just
Colin Andrews.
But that's one of the things I love about the FCF. XFL, we have these extremely unbalanced teams. We have these teams that are coming in like Houston, like St. Louis, that are just blowing out teams, right? That are just playing super well. And you got teams like the Guardians where it's like, man, like we've got to figure out something to get quarterback. No offense to DeAndre Francois, like you are QB1. Like I have mad respect for you, but like it's not just that week. Like there's other weeks where they've had issues at quarterback, week 1 and week 2, both. And not just with you, with everybody, where it's everybody's had a bad week. And it's like, that would be
you had a bad week.
Right. And if you have a bad week, then it gives like the fans or the coaches a chance to be able to be like, hey, we know that Dre is capable of better than that. So we're going to keep him on a roster. But some of these other guys, we might go to try to chase down a different quarterback because he might fit our scheme better or what we want to do. So that's one of the things I don't like about XFL. It's because it just feels very unbalanced. But it is what it is. It is what it is. To answer your question, that's kind of where I'm at. And Freddie makes a great point. Yeah, there's no preseason and not much joint practice. They just kind of get after it, and there it is. So there's definitely some things that they have to deal with. Anyway, so that's all we got for XFL, but we're going to keep tuning in. And also, I've got a friend of ours, a friend of the FCF, a friend of the channel, just started his own podcast covering the XFL. And so if you guys want to check out XFL Update, it's XFL_update1 on Instagram. He's got a Spotify podcast. Good friend of mine. He's got a good show. Just started it out. I'd highly recommend doing that. And we're probably going to bring him on one of these shows one of these days to talk XFL because his name's Ethan. Really solid dude. And I think you guys would like the content he's putting out. So if you are a big fan of the XFL, go check out some of our friends as well. In the meantime, let's talk NFL, shall we? Lots of shakeups were announced today. Some not fully official. Some will be official March 15th. March 15th is the end of the official season where they're starting the official next season. And this is what we have so far. Lots of NFL rosters are currently making room. Marcus Mariota was released from Atlanta today. Carson Wentz was released from Washington. Leonard Fournette is basically requested to be cut from Tampa Bay to pursue free agency. So that's interesting. And then Kenny G, New York Giants, like wide receiver, had a lot of potential coming into New York, and then unfortunately just hasn't shown up as a Giant, and he got cut today. So I want to talk about just kind of what we're seeing within the NFL. We actually have another conversation coming up here in a few minutes too. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers and talk about the quarterback situation with him and Derek Carr, two veteran quarterbacks, and kind of where they might end up. But first, I want to talk about these moves here. AJ, any surprises? Or are you? I mean, this seems exactly spot on. But I'm just saying, like, hey, are you kind of surprised this is happening now versus later? What are you thinking?
I mean, no, it makes sense to me, especially Atlanta, because they're gonna push hard to try to get Lamar Jackson. So if they can get Lamar Jackson and drop Marcus Mariota and keep, Ritter in the folds, like they're gonna go after it. Everyone else, it makes sense. Like Carson Wentz, I'll see you in the FCF. Come be a Bored Ape. I got a spot on the roster just for you because that's where your height is. That's the peak of your career at this point now, Carson Wentz. You can win back-to-back People's Championships with the Apes.
What's better?
Look at me here.
Super Bowl
all right,
being a People's Championship.
Back to back.
trophy winner.
All right. I promise you. Carson Wentz, listen here. Come here. Come a little closer. Listen here. Bored Apes, 2023/2024. People's Champion, led by Carson Wentz. Doesn't that sound better than 2022
Why does this
People's
sound
Championship
familiar?
winner Johnny Manziel? I don't know why.
This sounds really familiar to something else that happened one time when I was being recruited to a new team. Doesn't that just sound nice?
It sounds real nice, right?
Bored
And, you know, I'm just saying, it sounds really nice. As far as like an ownership, I did my part. We got to the People's Championship. We just didn't win. All right.
Yeah.
And
honestly, I think we did everything we could have. Dude, we should do a year in the season, we should do an Apes like exclusive episode of the Info Arcade where we do a season in review and we just talk about like beginning to end of the season and where like what went wrong. Like that would be crazy.
I can tell you. Do we want to do this for each team? Because I can tell you each team.
We can do it for each team. We can do it.
Let's start it off here. No, I'll give you a little point. Zappers. Worst point in your career, just every point. You guys got really lucky at the end, and great for you. The last 4 days in the FCF are like the Zappers' greatness. Everything before that is terrible. Should have been stars. Drewski, just one word is just Drewski. Glacier Boys. The fact that they think that the fans are better than the players themselves, I think that's their downfall. Apes, we're too confident. We're just too dang confident, and I understand why. It's because we're good.
But we're in trouble. We are. Knights, like we need some humility.
We do need some humility. Need some humility.
Yeah.
Knights, they just talk a lot. Don't show up until the season starts.
We love you, Knights. Come on.
Who else? We got Beasts, right?
Beasts are just partying. They're just having a good time.
They just have a good time. They're led by the funniest guy out there, so you can't really say anything. And you kind of feel bad.
It's crazy. I actually don't have anything bad to say about the Beast.
Well, I think it's one of those things where you always expect them to be better than they are, and you're kind of like, they're like the little brother of the league. We're like, you're supposed to do better than that. I think that's what the Beasts are. Yeah. 8 they're just a small team.
Dude, they're the ultimate underdog.
Small but mighty. That's all you can say,
like
though.
Mitch Kidd at quarterback.
Yeah, it's small but mighty.
It's just super fun. So I'm just saying, like,
it's small but mighty. But like, I'm pointing out the things that like these are the downfalls of the team, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And like, the only downfall Adoki has, they're a small team. That's not bad.
Stars, their downfall.
That's Drewski. It's Drewski. That's their downfall. Tell me I'm wrong,
dude. I will say they were super entertaining to watch last year. As a season 1 Wild Ace, going through that transition, going through free agency, watching kind of like what happened through the season, like it was just crazy to see like how SBS ended up. I don't think they had a bad season, but I think it was just a different. It's like it was like black and white different.
I'm gonna say this as far as like
different.
As far as ownership goes, I think Should Have Been Stars was definitely one of the most entertaining. Like Drewski, just like
Drewski's
whenever
hilarious.
he showed up was a riot. So
yeah,
and it went viral a few times.
Did you see him at the NBA All-Star game? Like he did stories from the floor at the NBA All-Star game. Like they were hilarious, bro.
I didn't see his NBA All-Star game, but I saw him at the Super Bowl when he was just making fun of Kevin Hart. He was like, this man thinks he can like coach from up here. What is he doing? He's acting as if he can do something that'll change the outcome of this.
We need to call in Drewski for one of the FCF shows like during the week. We need to make it happen because I feel like that show would just be so much fun.
Honestly, hilarious. I'd love to see it, but like the likelihood of that happening, I feel like
slim to none.
Yeah,
I totally get it. Totally get it. Anyway, all right. Well, so let's get into the really fun and let's just break this out for NFL conversation. I feel like we're seeing all these QB movements because they need to happen for one. But I think teams are
I've been calling for it.
Teams are just laying out the red carpet, man. We got the draft coming up. Got a lot of prime quarterback candidates ready to jump into the NFL. We got a lot of veterans looking for new homes Two of those being Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers. And there's some teams looking for some veteran leadership. There are some teams looking for that. But like that being said, there's also teams that are looking for veteran leadership and saying, hey, we see what teams like the Chiefs have done with young talent in such a short amount of time. You know, like
Falcons next.
Yeah, and well, Falcons speak like we've talked about this on the show before. Lamar Jackson also up in the air. Does he sign? I can't wait. Does he sign with Baltimore? Does he go somewhere else? Is he the next Michael Vick in Atlanta? You know, like we talked about that before. But tonight, I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers because we've talked a lot about Derek Carr. We've talked a lot about Derek Carr. We've talked a lot about Lamar Jackson, but we haven't talked about Aaron Rodgers. So, chat, if you're watching this, please let us know your thoughts on this. There's lots of question marks around Aaron Rodgers. First off, man's 39 years old. Okay? He's had a great Hall of Fame career, but he hasn't done much for the past few seasons. He has not gone the distance in the playoffs. And now there's been this you could tell there's just a divide in the Packers organization with Aaron Rodgers. But does he stay a Packer for the remainder of his career and be just a one franchise quarterback and that's it? Or does he break away this year and go into free agency or request a trade? Like, what does that look like? And right now, a lot of signs are pointing that he might end up as a New York Jet. Now, I want to know your opinion. AJ, I know you think he should retire or he should just stay a Packer and then retire. But
100%, yes.
But if he were not to, where do you see a good fit being for Aaron Rodgers? All these openings available, Carolina, Washington, Atlanta. There's lots of spots available for a guy like Aaron Rodgers. New Orleans, where do we see him ending up?
All right, I'm going to be real with you. The only place I could see Aaron Rodgers ending up is Tampa Bay. Why? Because he can take over where Tom Brady left off. That's the only way, because that's the only team that's prepared. That, or like Daddy Dennis says, the Niners, because those are teams that are set up to win right now. Yeah. Otherwise, the man should stay like Green Bay Packer and retire. If I was him, there ain't no way in hell am I going to the New York Giants. Why? Because I don't like New York teams in general. Or Jets. Yeah, whatever. Sorry, I meant Jets, but any New York team, no way. Right. Yeah, literally the same thing. They're both bad organizations, all right? Now, I don't care what you say, Freddie. Yes, they have a ton of defensive weapons. They're still the Jets. Nobody cares. They're not a good team. They're not a good organization. They may be turning it around, but if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to be like, nah, no thank you. I'm not going to leave my last few years as a good player in the cesspool that is New Jersey. Okay? No.
Yeah, but you also don't want to deal with a franchise that hates your guts. And that's kind of what it seems like Green Bay is kind of turning into for some reason, because there's some bad blood. I don't even know.
Retire on top, though. If he retires right now, yes, he has some bad blood with Green Bay fans. But overall, they're going to look at his career as a whole and go, you know what? The man did a lot for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Harry Back says, Rodgers to Vegas. Hate it as a Chiefs fan, but could totally see it. Absolutely. I could totally see that. It makes sense to me. He would be a great fit, I think, in Vegas as well. Again, there's so many potential openings for a guy like Aaron Rodgers to just come in and be successful. But, I mean, we're really just going to have to wait and see. To be honest, I think Tampa Bay, like you said, makes the most sense.
Yep.
Although... we'll really just have to kind of wait and see. It's kind of a mess, honestly. I'm just ready for this generation of quarterbacks just to kind of I don't know, move out of the way. Like you've said many times before on the show. But
we'll over again.
We'll see. And what I really don't want to happen for Aaron Rodgers is the same thing that happened to Tom Brady. Tom Brady comes out of retirement. He comes off hey, he just had an incredible season, retires.
Should have retired then.
Comes back out of retirement and just has a really off additional year. And I would hate to see that happen to another Hall of Famer like Rodgers, where he's like, hey, I'm going to take one more year and expect all these high hopes that it just be one of his worst years yet, or just not perform exactly like after the move as well. Like it's just tough. But I mean, we'll see. We will see. Reading these comments here. Ton of openings, probably more of those there than there are quality QBs to fill them, says Freddie Airmail. Hey, you could be 100% right, Freddie. There is a lot of potential openings. Matter of fact, I was actually kind of diving into NFL draft and a little bit of like the quarterback situation and how many prospects there are out there. And I'll pull up these names right now. I've got a list here. I'm going to try to get over to it. But when I was reading this list, I was like, honestly, like there is a lot of talent there, but like you said, when I see this many openings, a lot of times when they bring in these guys, they're not ready year one in the NFL. Yep. Perfect example, like Patrick Mahomes has turned out to be a legend in the NFL. He didn't play his first year. Alex Smith did.
Yep.
Which, by the way, there's a rumor right now floating around that Alex Smith might become a new QB coach in Kansas City. So that would be dope.
That'd be fun.
That would be awesome as a Chiefs fan myself. But I'm going to read this. Let me try to find this here real quick. I just saw it. Boom. Top draft prospects right here. Broken down by position rankings. Looking at quarterback. This is ESPN saying that University of Kentucky, Will Levis, he doesn't have great stats, but he is a playmaker. Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama. CJ Stroud, we've talked about him on the show quite a lot. Ohio State. Those are just a couple. Florida's Anthony Richardson, another solid pick at quarterback. So these are just a few names to list here. Hendon Hooker, Tennessee. Jake Hayner, Fresno State. Max Duggan, TCU. Clayton Tune, Stetson Bennett. Your boy Stetson Bennett, man. He's going to get picked up. Question is, where is he going to end up? Wouldn't it be interesting to see him in a Falcons uniform to stay in Georgia? Do you think that's going to happen?
It would be funny to see that, but that's not going to happen. Like,
you think he gets picked up before Atlanta even has a chance? You think? I
don't think he's the type of player Atlanta's looking for. Like, as much as I love him, I think he's like, sadly, he's probably going to go to like the Saints. And it's gonna
he would be a good fit in New Orleans.
But I think that's the type of pedigree of like quarterback that the organization like the Saints would want. They want like a Drew Brees guy, and he, to me, fits that to a T. So
yeah. So we're gonna run a poll question, and the poll question is this: we're not gonna run the poll here. We're gonna do this on Instagram this week on social media. So make sure you guys tune in. Let your opinion be heard. But should Aaron Rodgers retire? Yes. Should he go to the Jets? Should he go to Tampa Bay? Or should he stay in Green Bay? Those are your four options. Going to run a poll this week. Make sure you fill it out on Instagram in our stories. One of our days this week, we're going to pop that up there. So moving on to our next topic for the night. I saw these two quotes. These are NBA related. We're jumping over into NBA. And I don't know if we could get these pulled up here. But there's just two images. One is Barkley kind of sharing his thoughts on players resting in the NBA. And then the other one is Damian Lillard and what he had to say about Russell Westbrook. So I'm going to see if Jim can pop this up here real quick. Perfect. So Charles Barkley says, wait a minute, you're going to make $70 million and you can't play basketball 3 to 4 days a week. They fly private. They have the best medical staff ever created. Players or people are working in steel mill every day. And I'm sure they're tired too, but they do go to work every day. This is Charles Barkley talking about load management. Again, a guy who didn't take breaks, a guy who played that 90s era of basketball where that just wasn't a thing. I want to know, do you agree with Charles Barkley, chat? Do you think he's in the right, or has the game changed? Do we have enough talent out there to rest some of these players to shake it up? AJ, you go first. What do you think on this?
See, this is a hard one for me. I'm going to be honest with you, because I do agree. I think some of these players, it's hard for me to say this because I love sports. I love professional sports a lot. You know that. It's quite apparent with the shows that I do. But I do feel that like these players are getting paid a lot of money. They are, compared to like doctors, nurses, teachers that have to deal with stuff every day that they can't take a day off. I kind of agree with Charles here. Like, you know, if these fans are paying like hundreds of dollars to go see these players and LeBron decides to sit out, that kind of ruins it for the fans. I think like unless you are actually hurt, you should play the game. Now, I have one caveat for that. If your team has clinched the playoffs, you can rest your players. That is my only caveat. At the end of the season, when you are playing garbage minutes against garbage teams, it is okay to take your team out of it. Why? Because you don't want some errant player to hurt your star players. It's okay. Yeah. You can also give that time to the younger players to help develop. That's cool. But until that point, you're battling for a spot in the playoffs. These fans are paying money to see you. You have to go out and play your dangdest. All right. Yeah. I'm tired of like going and seeing the Hawks and Trae Young's not ready to play. It's happened once.
Which happened when you went to the game in Chicago. He didn't even show up.
Yeah. I was really upset. His parents were there, but he wasn't. So
that's pretty bad. Your parents show up to see you play and you're not even there. That's bad.
Right. So it's happened once or twice, but like, needless to say, I think he was actually hurt. But come on, man! If I'm driving to Milwaukee to see you play some ball,
yeah,
like come on! I drove an hour and a half. Yeah, make it worth my while, Trey.
I 100% agree with you, AJ. I've got to say, like, I feel like if there's an injury situation that's questionable, like these guys are trying to play these long careers, right? They're playing way longer than they did in the 90s. Some of these guys are getting up there in age. Look at LeBron. He's getting up there really like in age too. He's playing great, but the other day he had an injury where he came down on his ankle and just felt a pop, and that, you know, now he knows he's out for a while. That happens as these guys age. As physically in shape as they are, it's just part of the game, right? And so that's one thing. It's another thing to be like, oh man, I just need a break. I'm getting burnt out or I'm getting tired. Bro, you play a game for a living.
Yep.
This is your job. You get to play a game. You get to put on a show for all these people. Like, ball out, bro. You get to do this thing you love. And yeah, sure, with everything you love, you could totally get burnt out. It's totally true. But just go out there and play. That's what you get paid to do. You know, sometimes I don't like doing my job, but you know what? Like, there's a reason I have a job, and if I don't show up to work, I don't get paid. Right? That's the way it is for most modern day citizens. Like, you work, you get paid. If you don't, you don't get paid. So, some of the comments here, preach it, Chuck, is what Harry Back says. Daddy Dennis says, I don't have time for the NBA with spring league football taking off. I've stopped watching the NBA when Seattle's got their Sonics stolen. As an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, I chuckle at that because I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I took your team.
I'm sorry. It is what it is. It wasn't my choice, but you know, it benefited.
I'm reaping the benefits.
Yeah, I am definitely reaping the benefits. Spacely, 100%. He says he agrees. He said Charles said nothing wrong, everything right there. So perfect. Love it. Let me know what you guys think if you are filling out this on Instagram. Is Chuck in the right here? Let's go on. Next one here. Damian Lillard had this to say about Russell Westbrook's career. This was like the ultimate, like, West on West rival, like right here. You look at Russell Westbrook. You leave OKC for Houston, then James Harden, and then he decides he's leaving. Now Russ is then traded to DC. Then he gets traded from DC to the Lakers, and now you're on your 4th team in 4 years. You're on your 2nd year on the team. Everybody's talking about how they should trade you. Now you're coming off the bench. The dude is a Hall of Famer, an MVP, and yet he's coming off the bench. It's an example that the grass isn't always greener. This was Damian Lillard addressing a question on basically like pursuing playoffs with his team. Damian Lillard has taken an opposite path. Portland's had some up and down years, right? But Damian Lillard has stood loyal with the Trailblazers throughout his career. And then he's, making this comparison to Russell Westbrook and talking about the grass isn't always greener. Man, it really, really hits home because you see this in all types of sports, right? And that's why we're bringing up the conversation about Aaron Rodgers. The grass isn't always greener. You might leave Green Bay thinking, man, I've got all these problems, and then realize that those problems are with every franchise, because sometimes the problem lies therein with the athlete or in other things that are just natural, right? So curious to know your thoughts on this quote, chat, AJ. I read this and I just kind of like jaw dropped. I was like, dang, called out. But I want to get everyone's reactions here.
Honestly, I kind of agree with Dame. I think there's a lot of examples of that. Not only like Russell Westbrook, but we can look at Josh Smith. The man, arguably in the Hawks, was a great. Like people compared him as like a younger, less athletic LeBron James. Second, he goes to Detroit. The man was benched. He got way too much money. People were complaining. Same thing with Russell Westbrook. I think you would have a similar thing happen to Steph Curry. I feel like, if Steph didn't stay at Golden State, he would have gone to another team that wouldn't have utilized him the way that Golden State does. It's better to be on teams longer and stay loyal to teams. Why? Because they can build around you. They learn what type of player you are. They can call plays for you because they've seen you. They've worked with you year after year after year. When you have people trying to be put into LeBron's system, if you can't do what LeBron wants, baby, you're gone.
That's all right. Yeah.
Now, this is a situation where like that just proved it. Like, LeBron, to his credit, was trying to get all the banana boat buddies on the same team, and he almost did it. He didn't get. No, maybe he did. He got Carmelo on his team at one point. I think he had
Carmelo,
every single.
He had AD.
He had Carmelo. He had Carmelo, he had Russ. I think Russ was the last one. He got D-Wade. He's played with all his banana boat buddies. He just needed Russ to finish it up, and he did it, and it didn't work out for him. Yeah, so I think it's better because look at Dame. Dude has been in Portland his whole career. That he is beloved by that city. He has been told countless times he could not only do well, but exceed expectations on different teams if he had a partner, but he always said, no, I'm going to stay loyal. And people to this day respect him and look up to him. He's considered one of the best finishers of all time. And his team hasn't even gotten to the the finals and the playoffs.
I watched him put away Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Literally watched him just drill that 3 in the playoffs, sending the Thunder home in that game. And you're right. He's like one of the greatest finishers. Lots of opinions on this. I'm about to get to, by the way, over in chat. And I think it's crazy how divided everyone is. There's so many opinions on this issue. I didn't realize it was going to drum up all this stuff. But one of the things that stood out to me in this chat was the comparison that, LeBron was that kind of player who did hop around and found success. First from Cleveland to Miami, won championships, then back to Cleveland. Is that just because the caliber of player that LeBron is? Is it just luck? What is it?
It's
Look
not
at Kevin
luck.
Durant. He left.
I can tell you what it is.
Golden State won a championship. He didn't have success in Brooklyn, but I mean,
I can tell you what it is. This is the difference between LeBron James and Kevin Durant. All right, here.
Okay.
Hype, straight up hype.
Okay.
All right. The difference between LeBron James and Kevin Durant is LeBron James can go to a team because he has been considered the next generation of GOAT after Kobe Bryant. pretty much unanimously by everybody in the league, from fan base. So when LeBron goes to any organization, that organization will bow down to King James. That nickname is real.
But
and they will do whatever they want to make him happy.
What about Dame, though? The guy who stays loyal but doesn't win a championship? Because in that case, let me give you another example. Charles Barkley, beloved by the Utah organization, had an incredible career with his buddy John Stockton, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens? He gets disappointed. He goes in, he plays his whole career and walks away without a championship, and he still gets dogged on every week on TNT by Shaq for not having a ring. Does Dame want to be that guy? I don't know.
I mean, there's
playing devil's advocate here.
All I'm gonna say is this: there's just because you leave, doesn't mean necessarily you're gonna win a team. Kevin Durant, in my opinion, got lucky because he went to a team that was destined for greatness.
Oh yeah,
right? It's not luck.
I mean, that team won a championship the year before he got there. I don't think
it's not luck.
I don't really give a lot of credit to that, but
no. But now, besides LeBron James, do me a favor. Besides LeBron James,
who else
name me 5 players that were that successful jumping around team to team.
I can't. I can't
exactly
really think on that.
Now think of players who are loyal to their team.
Shaq left Orlando to go play for the Lakers, but he didn't hop around team to team to team. But he did make one.
I mean, he arguably did, but he didn't have as much success.
Yeah, he had success with the Lakers, and then he went to the Heat, and
he won there with Dame. So you could say Shaq. I would say Shaq. I'd accept Shaq, but Shaq, LeBron, no one else. But I can go.
I got nothing right now.
I can go Kobe. I can go Michael. I can go Magic. I can keep going.
Are all legends. They stayed with their organization.
Exactly.
I mean, MJ left for another team in a different sport, but we don't talk about that because that was a train wreck. Anyway, whatever. Karl Malone did go to the Lakers. Okay,
but did they win?
Yeah, that's the question. Did they win when Malone was a Laker? I don't know if they did.
Don't think they did. I'm pretty sure they didn't. That was a horrible team because everybody was like, "Oh, it's going to be a super team," and they didn't do well.
I said Barkley. Excuse me. I said Barkley with Utah, and totally messed it up. Karl Malone.
You meant Karl Malone.
Yeah. See. Yeah,
I was like,
knew what I meant. They knew what I meant. Sorry, my bad, guys. It's been a long day. I'm tired. I'm gonna read some of these reactions. I'm going to read some of these reactions because these are great. I love it. Sometimes the problem is you, not everyone else. Sometimes the problem is you, not everyone else. AKA, sometimes the problem is the player, not the organization. So when players are hopping around team to team to team in hopes of the grass is greener, and then they bring that toxic soil with them. And they can't expect the grass to be greener. It might look greener, and then they show up, and then they kill it.
You mean yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, I
get it. There's so
many. Malone did go to the Lakers. Yeah, we said that, but they didn't do well.
Yeah. Let's go. Dame should do what makes him happy. You go, Freddie Airmail. Damian is the basketball version of Ernie Banks. Okay.
I don't know about all that.
Josh Smith would have been a Hall of Famer if he stayed in Atlanta on the hype alone.
100%. Yes. I'm saying if Josh Smith didn't leave to go to Detroit, that man would have been considered a Hall of Famer. Why? Because he would have worked with a bunch of other younger players. He would probably still be in the league, in my opinion. He'd be working with Trae Young. He'd be his vet. You'd see some ridiculous lobs between Josh Smith, Trae Young, and John Collins. Let me tell you what.
Yeah. We are about to go into our final segment here in just a few minutes. But if you want to go ahead and get us prepped and ready for this chat, if you're watching live, we're going to do a Q&A segment in the final 5-10 minutes of the show. You guys can ask us about any topic. We'll give you opinion. We'll interact with it. Any topic in sports or media entertainment. We'll jump on that. So go ahead and start throwing some of those questions out to us. But in the meantime, we're going to talk real quick on entertainment. We've got a few things to talk about here. We talked a lot about the Pokemon Direct last week that was supposed to take place on Pokemon Day, which was yesterday. For all you gamers out there, a lot of people were really hyped because there's these rumors of the OG Game Boy games coming out. are being
Wanted it so
re-released,
bad.
and then it never happened. Never
Wah,
happened.
wah, wah.
So the question is, do you think the direct was a total like flop, total fail, disappointment?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. You know why?
Yeah.
Because I had trouble finding what the actual news was for Pokemon Direct in all the Twitter.
It's true.
Like literally,
Nobody talks about it.
No one talked about what was actually announced. They were talking about how disappointed they were.
Yeah,
that
it's
is
bad.
a bad announcement if that's the case.
memes.
That's all I
The
gotta
memes
say.
is what I was there for after the fact. The
Oh,
memes
dude.
were on point about how bad it was. But as a guy who was like kind of looking forward to some of that nostalgia, like I was pretty hype about it. They are remaking. Get this. They are remaking the original Pokemon cards, like for an exclusive set.
Oh yeah,
So the
yeah. It was like a
original-
tin set or something, like a metallic set. Or something.
well, it's like it's not a metallic set. It's like a full on like collector's like chess like card game set. Like think of like
I'm
a
gonna
collector's like chess set, but for the original like card game that's got the OG. So that was pretty cool, like for nostalgia purposes, but like video game wise, it was just oof. Jason Wright, got to catch them all over on YouTube. 100%, got to catch them all. This is a topic I was excited to talk to you about, AJ, because I know you have a lot of opinions on this. Lord of the Rings remake was announced.
Yep.
How we feeling? How we doing? Because I know you are probably one of the biggest diehard Lord of the Rings fans in the FCF fan base, or in the Fan Controlled Sports and Entertainment fan base. We've talked Lord of the Rings a lot, especially when Rings of Power was out.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And now this, got announced that they're making new films from Warner Brothers. They just signed a multi-year deal to create additional movies based on the books of author J.R.R. Tolkien to go beyond what New Line Cinema already adapted for the screen for the Lord of the Rings trilogy and Hobbit trilogy. To me, it seems like they're going to be adding additional canonical materials similar to Rings of Power that's going to build up. That's what it seems like to me whenever I'm like, checking all this out, reading through all this stuff. But I'm just curious to know, you guys can read this article over on MSN. You guys can find it, new Lord of the Rings films. It's on there. But yeah, how are we feeling, everybody? I want to know. We good on this?
Last ditch cash grab effort to turn the Lord of the Rings into the next MCU. Like they're like, we got 6 movies. Let's make them 12. All right, we'll just add more stuff. It'll be great. Everybody will love it. It'll be great. We'll be happy. It'll be great. I don't know what that voice was. That's movie producer AJ voice.
It's great though. I loved it.
Yeah, so that's what they're thinking though, and I'm just like, I don't like it. I think it's a cash grab. I'm genuinely worried that they're gonna make movies that already felt really long at 3.5 hours, 3+ hours. Mm-hmm. They're gonna either split it up into 2 3-hour, like 2 6-hour movies for one movie each. So it's gonna be like we're just doubling up and making it longer. I'm worried that because the thing that they did last time was they made the movies great. But there are certain things missing that I can see them add. At the same time, I'm worried that the actual book is very dry. There are moments where it's like they talk about what they're eating for like 3 pages. And it's like, okay, cool. Don't show that in the movie. We don't need cooking by hobbits halfway through the movie. So I'm skeptical, but we'll see. Yeah. We'll see.
The real question is, do they go full scale reboot and redo the original like movies in terms of like
they have to,
like, or like, is that what they're doing, or are they expanding on like the additional lore and like pre-story? Because like Rings of Power kind of dives into that like pre-Hobbit, pre-Lord of the Rings era, and I feel like Amazon has done an okay job with it. Like it's entertaining. It dives into some of that source material, but the question is like, at what point do they run out of stuff? And like,
yeah.
They like, I don't know. It's interesting.
I'm calling it now. Hollywood, and this is going to get people upset. Hollywood has been remaking things for the last like 10 years. They don't have a lot of original content coming out. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say something that's going to piss off a lot of people. The next set of original content is going to be coming from Web3. You're going to be seeing it from all these IPs. You're going to see Bored Ape movies. You're going to see like Gutter Cat movies. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. And not
can
only
see it.
that, there's gonna be Dungeons and Dragons franchise. This movie's gonna do too well, and that's so easy for them to make like content from. So you're gonna see like 10 of those.
Perfect example, by the way, of things not being original and being remade. How many Disney live action like remakes have we seen? Like we've seen so many of them. And now a trailer just dropped today for the new Peter and Wendy Disney Plus movie. I don't know if you saw this.
It's getting out of hand. I haven't. No.
They're making a live action Peter Pan. And it's not like Hook, like live action Peter Pan with Robin Williams. No. It's like literally like a full remake. Here's the trailer with no audio. So it gives you a little sense of like the visual like look that we're going for here. But like it's another live action remake of a beloved cartoon classic made by Disney being revamped for the modern day cinema. And I watched the whole trailer and I have some thoughts. And it kind of lines up with my thoughts for Lord of the Rings, which is why I didn't answer Lord of the Rings, because I feel like I'm going to be saying the same thing twice. So I'm just going to say it right now. Just because you can remake something doesn't mean you should. Like, I'm just saying it. I'm just throwing it out there. Like Lord of the Rings, I mean, Orlando Bloom as Legolas, they're not going to make that happen again. They're not. That's as good as it gets right there. That's it. Like, the original Fellowship, those guys, that story, the way that they told it, flawless. Peter Pan as well. It's one of those awesome classical cartoons I grew up with as a kid that our parents watch as kids, and they're remaking it for Hollywood, and it's all because they want another shot at a cash grab. And I'm watching this and I'm like, hey, like, cool. Why do we need this? Just why? I don't get it.
Is that Jude Law as Hook?
I think so. Yeah.
What? Okay. Nah, yeah, total cash grab. This is, you already did it once with Robin Williams. Nah, I'm done.
Well, the Robin Williams one was still a little original. Like,
no, it was good. Future. Like, I liked it. No, that one was good. That's what I'm saying. Just leave it at that. Don't try to do it again. You already have the live action. Don't go back.
Jude Law is Captain Hook.
That's bad. That's bad casting.
Jim Gaffigan as Smee, as Mr. Smee.
That could be funny.
That's actually some solid casting.
That's
I will say. But I mean, yeah. I'm reading through all this stuff, watching all this stuff, and I'm just. I don't know. I will say, remakes. Alan Tudyk is in this movie.
Yes,
he plays. He plays the dad. He plays the dad of the kids. I know it's not anything good. That's not.
But
I love Alan Tudyk.
That's a very bad cast. He needed to be one of the like pirates alongside of him. Why? Because it's a callback to Dodgeball.
Yeah, for sure. Love Dodgeball.
BC Lion has a question for me, and it's Canada's national soccer president resigns after all 13 province and territories presidents demanded such on Monday. Thoughts on the state of soccer in the North? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't pay too much attention with it. Freddie Airmail is right, but that's not good. It's not a good sign if the president
can tell you my
of soccer.
Can I tell you my thought?
Do it. Let's hear it.
The MLS is in dire need of creating they're trying to expand to be something competitive with European soccer. Why not expand with Canada and Mexico? The U.S. is already doing it with the World Cup. Why not just expand professional soccer across the border between all of North America, from Canada down through Mexico? It would make the leagues way, way more competitive. And then also too, we could have a relegation system that would actually work out. Right now, the USL is not a great look for a relegation system for the MLS. There's my thoughts for you, BC Line.
That's actually pretty good. Now that you talk about it like that, I kind of agree with you. That's a good idea. It would make sense. It would make that.
I mean, MLS some of those Mexican teams, like El Tigres, like they're legit, bro. They play hard. They play well. I would love to see them take on MLS like teams every week. Like, for sure. That would be great. And there's some MLS teams that are weak. and need to be like switched out for other talent. Weak.
You're weak.
You're weak. Anyway, and last topic before we get into the rest of the questionnaire. This is probably the thing I'm most excited about. Mandalorian season 3 drops tomorrow. Tomorrow. Look at this awesome imagery. I'm so excited. Oh yeah, Grogu's back. If you didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, like that's your fault. It's not a spoiler. Like you missed that entire show. And they explained that. Anyway, yeah, I'm ready to see Pedro Pascal, back in action, saving yet another, creature, human, whatever it be. It doesn't matter. He's just the ultimate dad at this point between the Mandalorian and Last of Us. It's true. But AJ, are you going to be tuning in for the premiere tomorrow? You a big Mandalorian fan? I didn't know if you were or not, to be honest.
I'm going to put it like this. I paid attention. I've watched them. Okay. I'm caught up on the Boba Fett series. Like I watched it all. I wouldn't say I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but like I'm up to date. I like it. I'm gonna say this: Book of Boba Fett was boring.
Oh, it was.
The only episode that I really paid attention to was when the Mandalorians all came in at the end. Yeah, spoiler alert. Whatever.
The Mandalorian episodes of Book of Boba Fett were by far the best Mandalorian episodes I've ever seen, and they weren't in the Mandalorian.
Right.
So,
but having said that, I'm getting a little tired of the Star Warses. I think they need to come out with a movie to keep me entertained.
Gotcha. It's having the opposite effect as it
really is. I think I genuinely, wow, that was hard for me to say for the first time ever. I genuinely think that it'd be interesting if they did a Fallen Order movie or series. That'd be cool. Back when there were Jedis everywhere, it wasn't just this little old thing. I'm excited for that.
The Acolyte is what it's called. It's a dark side series.
That I don't know if I want to see that. I wish it was Jedi Knights and following them during that time too. I also want to see those. I think that they have one where it was this. I don't know a lot of. This is the one nerdy thing that I don't have a ton of knowledge on. Okay. But there are these warriors that were both they were white knight lightsaber Jedi guys, where they were half Jedi, half Sith. They were down the center. I want to see a storyline about that. That looks cool as hell. Code whatever 66. I want to see
Order 66.
Order 66. I want to see a show that goes around following the Jedis that are trying to hide out.
Have you watched Clone Wars?
Yeah, I've seen the Clone Wars, but I want to see live action.
Have you seen? Well, they have been showing some live action
bits and pieces. Yeah, I know from different parts. You got to put them all. I want a series. All right, don't give me bits and pieces and little thing. Give me go get the guy who's in the new Star Wars RPGs. Turn that into a movie, okay? Go back and do Star Wars Unleashed with that dude that the bald-headed guy that was a Sith that threw his he had his saber backwards. Go do a series on that guy. That's interesting.
Those the Old Republic
Old Republic
trailers are amazing. I'm just give me some of that, please. More, please.
Yeah, give me some Gray Jedi. Give me some Old Republic. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're
Give me stuff that I don't know the name of because it's not within major Star Wars canon. Bring that up to the front, all right? Because I like that.
To be fair, we might see some movies be announced here in a couple weeks because Star Wars Celebration is 6 weeks away. So we might actually get some content here pretty soon. So excited about that. Now we're moving on to the last segment of the night. In lieu of a boss battle, we are doing Q&A. We're talking about the topics you want to talk about here on the show. And if you guys want to, feel free, chat some topics. We got something to talk about. We already answered one from BC Lion. Had another one up here. Let's see. I'm a Bama Hoops fan, and we and hope we win it all. Am I a total scumbag or a true fan?
What?
He said, "I'm still." Harry Back says, "I'm still a Bama Hoops fan and hope we win it all. Am I a total scumbag or a true fan?"
I
guess
don't
you'd
even
have
get
to.
that question.
I don't either. How long have you been a Bama Hoops fan? And I mean, can't call you
That's
a
a weird
scumbag.
question. Yeah,
That is a
no,
weird
I
question.
don't. Yeah, I don't know what you're asking.
A fun Pokemon trivia fact. Did you know that Pokemon did not exist the last time the 49ers won a Super Bowl?
That's hilarious. I did not know that.
That's kind of funny. All right. Going through some more of this stuff. The Mexican League does not need the MLS. I didn't say that they did need the MLS. What I'm saying is it would be hype to see those two clash. It'd be super dope. That's all I got to say there. But what topics do you guys want to talk about? Fan-controlled Hollywood. Should we make it happen?
I mean, what does that even look like?
I mean, it'd be pretty crazy.
I just want to know what that looks like. Like, what do you mean by that? Do you just want like? I don't even know what that even looks like. How would the fans vote on the screenplays? Like, how does that even work?
I don't know. Freddie Airmail just says Hot Pockets. Like
Hot Pockets. Fan controlled Hot Pockets. How does that work?
What do you?
Do you pick what goes into the weird? Okay, now this is a question. Are Hot Pockets raviolis? I think they are. Are Pop-Tarts raviolis?
Are Pop-Tarts a sandwich?
No, they're ravioli. They're ravioli.
Are raviolis a sandwich?
No.
It's two
They're
pieces
pasta.
Of bread, all be together. But
it's a pasta.
Like
it's
a sandwich.
Pasta. No,
is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
I'm just saying. Like,
you know the difference between a sandwich and a pasta, and I'll give it to you right now. Difference between a sandwich and a pasta. You can see what's inside a sandwich. You can't see what's inside a ravioli. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could get a ravioli. It could have shrimp. It could have meat. It could have just cheese. But if you get a burger, you know if it's tofu. You know if it's chicken sandwich. You know if it's like a normal burger because you see the patty right there. If it's a hot dog's right there. You see it. You see what I'm saying? There's always a little area of which you see it. That's the difference between raviolis and a hot dog and sandwiches. You guys are welcome for that. I just sat you down and gave you a little lecture on the differences between raviolis and sandwiches. You're welcome.
So I got more clarification on what happened with Alabama. Alabama basketball player was the second man charged with the murder of a young mother. Darius Miles.
Whoa.
Darius Miles and another man have been charged with a capital murder after a fatal shooting near campus. It was said that the shooting occurred early Sunday morning in the strip off of University Boulevard near campus, where the victim, who was 23 years of age, from the Birmingham area, was shot and killed. Miles is a 21-year-old junior reserve forward from Washington, D.C., and Michael Lynn Davis, 20, of Charles County, Maryland. They were both charged with capital murder. Basically, the player was said to have provided the murder weapon intentionally.
Ooh.
Like, was asked to provide the murder weapon and provided it.
Bro, yeah, you're a bad dude. I would not be supporting that. I'm sorry. I'm straight up calling it. You're a bad dude. Don't root for that team. They need to lose.
I'm reading this.
Karma's coming hard for them and their fan base right now.
At this time, it appears the only motive was a minor altercation with these individuals that they had with the victim. They didn't have a previous relationship. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, this is crazy.
Jason, you're wrong. Hot Pockets are raviolis. They are dough with a filling inside, covered in a pocket-like situation. Yeah.
Had to find my way to the dinner, lads. Shout out to all of the Canadian viewers and listeners. I'm wishing you an awesome evening. Thank you, BC Lion. Always good to have you every single week. So thank you for being a loyal fan of the show. We love having you. Love having you here. Yeah, I don't know if you can hate an entire team.
Panini's a sandwich, bro.
I don't know if you can hate an entire team because of the acts of an individual, but
you cannot root for that team that same year though. That's my rule. It's like if they did something bad, you just take down all your
Hot Pockets or empanadas.
Empanadas are raviolis. They're just like fancy like Spanish.
Okay. We should do is it a ravioli like flowchart? Like,
I mean, it's
is it a
pretty
ravioli?
Guys, it's pretty simple. Dough with filling equals ravioli. And anything else, if you can see the filling or meat byproduct by some sort of visual window, it is a sandwich. Okay? A panini is just a pressed sandwich.
So is an enchilada a sandwich? By that definition?
No, an enchilada is technically a burrito. A hot dog is a sandwich. An enchilada is a burrito. A burrito is its own form, and
Pop-Tarts are ravioli then.
Pop-Tarts are ravioli, yeah.
Okay. I would hate to be judged by my teammates' actions, though. Yeah, no, 100%, Harry.
Yeah, I get that.
About the Alabama situation, like again, it's happened
it's a shitty
before
situation.
in sports. I saw a post the other day. Somebody shared an old throwback photo of the LSU player that was murdered when they were doing he's murdered by a fellow teammate, and there's a picture where they were like all circled and huddled around the picture of the victim, who was a LSU player, and the person who caused the murder was a player on LSU, and he was like kneeled down with the team, but he's looking right at the picture, like everyone else's eyes were closed and he was looking right at the picture. That was pretty interesting. Freddie Airmail, did Deshaun Benson get his shout out? Shout out to Deshaun Benson for joining the Omaha Beef. That's right. He's going to be playing for the Omaha Beef. He was a Bored Ape defensive back.
Omaha
defensive back. He played for the Hitmen. Now he's going to play with the Omaha Beef.
God, worst name for a team I've ever heard. It just first of all,
beef?
Omaha Beefsteaks, sponsors of the Omaha Beef football team. Omaha, we got beef.
That's Arby's.
No. Arby's is Arby's. We got the meats.
Yeah.
We have all of the meat.
Omaha Beef.
Okay, have you seen their mascot, Sirloin?
No, is that a thing? No, please tell me it's not. Please tell me it's not. Sirloin.
I'm dying. That's amazing, Sirloin.
I'm gonna try to pull this up on the stream for you guys.
That is honest. That's really one of the funniest things I've heard.
It's like so super. Oh my god, it's a thing.
That's hilarious.
I mean, I can't even. He's got his own Twitter, guys. Hold on. Bim, throw this up, buddy. Throw this up, please. I just sent you a link. I can't believe this is real. I just cannot believe this is real. You're looking at Omaha Beef's mascot, Sirloin.
Wow.
Right there.
Beefy.
2021 Indoor Football League champions. It's been a minute since they've posted on their thing. He has 5 followers. You guys go show some love to Sirloin. Beeffootball.com. Be careful clicking that. You don't know what you're clicking on. Okay, there. We're fine. Say,
that is
interesting.
That is a little bit wild.
Shout out to again Deshaun Benton for joining the Beef. All of us in Sirloin will be rooting for you
so funny.
as you hit the gridiron again.
We'll
see you back in the FCF eventually.
So funny.
Yeah, interesting.
I can't get over it.
I just can't. I don't know if I could top the show any more than that. I think that's
I think that's how you end the show right there.
Yeah,
you can't go past that. That's just too
the
funny.
The only thing that could top a sirloin, what mascot would it be? What other like weird like name like a sirloin would work?
The turd burglars, the shit sandwiches.
No, too far. No, I meant like play on words type of stuff.
The turd burglars are great. Come on.
I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like
what else can you come up with?
I don't know. That's why I asked you.
Turd burglars for the first one, because come on, it's dudes with like, I just imagine the Hamburglar, but with a sack that has like the poop emoji on it.
And the show's over, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Info Arcade podcast, where each and every week we run you through the sports news and entertainment news you need to know about. This week has been brought to you by Ravioli. Is a sandwich ravioli?
Pop-Tarts are ravioli.
Pop-Tarts are ravioli. This has been brought to you by Ravioli. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you'll join us. Have a great night. And remember, as always, power to the fans.
The superstars of Fan Control Football Season 2.0 are not only the who's who of celebrity team owners and influencers, not the 21 million live views of our Emmy-nominated broadcast. Across Twitch, DAZN, Fubo, NBCLX, Peacock. Or our highlights that scored over 100 million views. And we can't forget best-in-class sponsors. But the biggest star of Season 2 is our play calling app that allow fans to control the action on the field. Fans pick a team, pick a play, 4 run plays, 4 pass plays to choose from. The play with the most votes is called in real time.
We got it.
This is where video games and live action come to life. And now, Fan Control Sports and Entertainment brings you Fan Controlled Hoops, where fans call the shots. Coming 2023, the future of sports is here, and it's fan control. Power to the